Hello everyone, this is Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. Gosh, we didn't even get 24 hours before the whole chaos, Trump train wreck began again after the midterms. Thank goodness that the Democrats took the House, because had he fired Sessions without that protection from the House now being under the control of the Democrats, then I shudder to think what would happen. The last 24 hours I've been watching him. I've been interested to see his reaction. And I've been watching his press conference and the altercation with Jim Acosta. I have to say, at the press conference, he was furious. It doesn't matter what he says, however he spins it. He is actually very, very worried. He is very concerned. All along, I have said that he would lose his power after the midterms. This is what he's afraid of. He's afraid of this loss of his power. And of course, he's afraid of the Mueller probe. We have no more direct insight into his desperate behaviour than the firing of Jeff Sessions, okay? Now, he has put his own man in that job, so that almost he will have that advocate oversighting Mueller's probe. Is he going to shut the Mueller probe down? Well, the Democrats have said that if he did move this way, they would bring Mueller to testify before the House, and they would publicly televise those testimonies. So is that what Donald Trump wants? Mueller being interrogated by Democratic senators. There's some pretty talented lawyers there. Is that what he wants? I don't think so. Now, will he shut the probe down? Again, before the midterms, we looked at him and the GOP leadership having Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, Plan D, depending on what occurred with the midterms. To be quite honest, I do think that it was only up until the last few days before the midterms that he realised he was in trouble. I have also seen some of the GOP candidates that have lost races because of this flipping of the House to blue, this blue wave. And Trump did an absolutely disgusting thing at the White House when he basically threw those failed GOP candidates under a bus. And one posted on Twitter that he was, absolutely disgusted. I think he called Donald Trump vile. This is a GOP candidate. He's a sitting congressman who is retiring. I'll think of his name in a minute. Anyway, he basically said that Trump had thrown, after putting up with his vile hate speech and wanting more civility in politics and copping abuse in his own electorate for the last 2 years while Trump has been gaslighting, and then to have Trump throw him under a bus, he said he was angered to the core. There's a lot of ill feeling toward Donald Trump coming out. This is causing him to whip up a frenzy, if you like. He's very, very angry. He's very worried about Mueller. He is bitter. He's hateful, really, at the moment. The energy coming from him is vindictive. He is full of pure vindictiveness. Okay, what's he going to do? Because that's what you all want to know. So I'm going to ask, we know why he fired Sessions. We don't need to ask that. Is he going to fire Mueller? Is he going to shut down the Mueller probe? That's probably the question we need to ask. Is Donald Trump going to shut or try and shut down the Mueller probe? Let's see what we can pull here. Is Donald Trump going to shut down the Mueller probe? Donald Trump going to shut down the Mueller probe. Donald Trump shut down the Mueller probe. Okay, the Ace of Cups is the it's a proposal. So he's putting this proposal forward to the various people today. Yes, he's trying to shut it down. Okay, what's it to do with? The Ten of Pentacles. And this card came up in my reading yesterday in a different deck. I'm using the Rider-Waite deck today, which is an American-based deck, so I thought it appropriate to use today. Now, the Ten of Pentacles came up. It's to do with money. It's to do with his personal fortune. It's to do with the money trail, okay? Money laundering, money trail, money from Russia. That is what it's to do with. There is no doubt, this is twice this has come up, that he is concerned about his own personal fortune. This is also, the Ten of Pentacles is also the card of inheritance and legacies as well. So he's concerned about the Trump organisation. He's concerned about his family inheritance and legacy as well. Here he is, he's battle weary, he's under threat. This is him, the Nine of Rods, and he is he's trying to keep these boundaries. He's trying to persist. But this is Donald Trump now. He's very, very weary. He's trying to put up, and this is what this firing of Sessions and putting his own man in there. This is trying and keep a boundary between the Mueller probe and Trump's personal fortune, the Trump organisation. Okay, that's what it's all about. It may not be shutting he may not have the power to shut. Well, he probably does have the power to shut Mueller down, but he may not be able to stop the findings of Mueller because the House has changed to blue. But it may be that he will try and put boundaries around it, to say, okay, well, you were never tasked to look at my own personal finances, so therefore that's off the table. There are proposals and negotiations going forward. He wanted his own man in the centre and oversighting those proposals. What is, the potential here? This is transition and moving on. This could mean that this is... there might be a number of meanings to this. It could be Sessions moved on in order to protect Trump. It could also be trying to move Mueller on. He certainly will try because we've got the Ace of Cups there. It could also be him eventually having to move on, which is what we've all seen it play out. The second half of this reading, I'll probably look at, when can we expect that, and what's driving him. Will he try to shut Mueller down? This is like the Five of Cups, and the Five of Cups is this. It is loss and regret, and it's also feeling abandoned, and it's also grief. Is this Mueller or is this Trump? I'm seeming to think this is Trump, okay? This is what I see him. I see this vindictiveness born of this loss that he feels that he's had. This is, again, him picking himself up and going, okay, what can I do here? Well, how can we swing this? How can I stop this from happening? Because this is the card of teamwork. He's assembling his team. He's going to throw all of it at it, and he's going to be working very hard. So will he be able to fire Mueller? He's certainly putting proposals forward. He's trying to put up boundaries. He's trying to move Mueller on. He's trying to stop him getting at this money trail, which involves the Trump organisation and his family wealth. Will he be successful? Will he move Mueller on? Will we see Mueller in front of the House testifying about the probe publicly like the Democrats have threatened? That's another reading. But will he shut down the Mueller probe? I just get he will try, okay? He's worried about his long-term financial security, okay? So these are the two cards. He will try. I'm not sure he'll be successful because one way or another we're going to learn what Mueller knows. If it's not not via further indictments, it'll be in front of the House. Okay, he's concerned about the loss, the money trail, the money laundering, the donations. Not the donations, but the money trail between Russia and the Trump organisation, the money laundering. This is really, really bothering him because it will mean the loss of his personal fortunes. He realises he has no protection now. He's worried about his long-term financial security. This is what's driving him, and this loss, this vindictiveness. This is what's coming to the fore. He's trying to assemble a team. This is putting things in place to try and stop Mueller coming forward. He's making some kind of proposal at this current time. I don't know what it is, but it may be to restrict the Mueller probe in some way, to say that personal finances are off limits. He's got his team working on it at the moment. I don't feel he's going to shut down the Mueller probe, because this was the card I pulled when I asked that direct question. He's going to try. He's concerned about his long-term financial security, okay? But it does not, I don't see, when I asked that question, I didn't see the death card. The only card in relation to a possible moving on from Mueller was this Six of Swords, which is a transition and a moving on card. But I didn't see the death card. I didn't see the I would have expected to see the Five of Wands, or the Seven of Wands. I would have expected to see, in answer to that question, I would have expected to see other cards come forward, and they didn't. So I'm going to say that my best interpretation is that he will try and shut down the Mueller probe. I don't think he's going to be successful. If he did, the Democrats would simply subpoena Mueller to the House, and Mueller would testify there anyway. So it's gone too far for him to do much at all. He now is trying to curtail and restrict it. Okay, so my feeling is that it's not a shutdown. It's efforts to try and restrict and say this is off the table. You can't investigate that. You can't find on that. He's playing lawyer. He's lawyering up with his own man in the Department of Justice. I want to ask, one of the fears, or one of the things that's been put forward at the moment, is that his son, Donald Trump Jr, is about to be indicted, and he's trying to protect him by doing this. Let's ask, is Don Jr going to be indicted by Mueller now the midterms are over? Is Don Jr going to be indicted? Certainly I've seen ramping up of the targeting of Roger Stone. Is Donald Trump Jr going to be, and I'd refer you back to the reading I did on Stone in the past. I think this is also making Donald Trump very nervous and vindictive. But his own son would be pressing those buttons. I cannot describe, for someone like me, the energy that I saw coming out of him in that press conference was so angry and so vindictive and so nasty. It's finally dawning on him what has happened. It's finally hitting home to him that he's not successful. It's finally hitting home to him that that Mueller probe now is, he's got no protection. Okay, so. Will Don Jr be indicted? Will Don Jr be indicted? Will Don Jr be indicted? Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, we've got the Knight of Wands coming forward, and the Knight of Wands is this soldier. This is often associated with the Mueller probe. The Knight of Wands, is this. I guess, it's justice and it's freedom coming forward. It's like uncovering what is hidden, and exposing that for the world to see, or for us to see. So that is the soldier in battle. To me, that's Mueller coming forward. I asked, was Don Jr going to be indicted? Yes. Page of Pentacles, that to me is representing Don Jr. That is the card often of money news. So it's to do with this money that keeps showing up. Because if he was indicting Don Jr, it would be around the WikiLeaks and that collusion aspect with the Russians. This is pointing more, really, I think, to some kind of family or money news. This is about the Trump organisation. And the Queen of Cups. Now that's interesting because we're pulling the Queen of Cups, which is this resourceful person. Who is that woman? Okay, who is that woman in the past? That could literally be the Democrats and how important that is. That, I mean, we had women taking the House, like coming forward as successful candidates, which helped the victory. Queen of Cups. Is this something to do with Ivanka as well? Ivanka and Jared. I'll let that one sit there. Circles of support. Yep. How many people were in that meeting? Is that Russian lady? That's what that is. Okay, that was that Russian lawyer that was in that meeting. I think this is what this is about. And Kushner could well be caught up in it. Yeah, the card of nostalgia, and I mean, this is the Six of Cups. Yeah, this is sort of like the collusion aspect of that meeting. What I don't understand here is this monetary aspect to that meeting in Trump Tower. It's definitely around that. It's around those that attended it. It's around that. I see that as the Russian lawyer. I see that as Mueller coming forward. And it's almost like they were really, I mean, this is the card of innocence. They were really stupid to meet in that way. And yeah, I mean, this is the Russian influence coming forward. This is overseas influences. And, it's like, it's sometimes waiting for results to happen. So this tells me that this, waiting for these emails, waiting for the results that how it would impact on the 2016 election, and that we've got the globe, the world in our hand. This is an overseas interest coming forward here. I honestly think something is coming down the line for Donald Trump Jr, and this is what he's really worried about. I do see his children there. I see the Russian meeting, but I do see his children. And I do see the money connection in the Trump organisation. There could be something coming forward to, again, I see this financial aspect to the Mueller investigation, and any indictment of Donald Trump Jr could well be because he is the CEO. Is he the CEO of the Trump organisation? And Trump divested himself, didn't he, and put Donald Jr in charge. This may not have to do with the WikiLeaks, although it could. But it may also have to do with, it's to do with the money trail to the Trump organisation as well. So Donald Jr is going to, Trump's children are going to be caught up in this. And Donald Jr it's not just about the meeting with the Russians, the collusion conspiracy aspect. It's also about this money trail as well, which is coming straight to the Trump organisation and Trump's children. And really, Don Jr is right in the firing line because he's currently the head of that company. Okay, so that's what's pressing. That's what's really, really, really driving this at the moment. I'll ask what the Democrats are going to do about this, because I know that you all are extremely worried. But, you know, will there be a constitutional crisis? Because if he does sack Mueller or tries to prevent that probe, there will be a constitutional crisis. And we need to know what the Democrats will do. Will there be? What will the Democrats do if he tries to shut down the Mueller probe? Will there be a constitutional crisis? What will the Democrats do? Yep. Okay, I'm just getting Adam Schiff at the moment. Adam Schiff. Okay, they will try and move. They will. I mean, this to me is that they will try and impeach Trump. Okay, that's what that is saying. And this is what it will lead to. It will lead to grief and anxiety for Trump and the Trump family. This is not grief and anxiety for Mueller. I don't think Mueller would be rattled in that way. They're going to try and impeach Trump. And they're going to probably try and get some support from the Republicans as well. This is the Two of Cups, and this is about proposals. They're going to be putting forward their own proposals with members of the GOP, whether or not that would work or not. This is about relationships and proposals amongst themselves as well. They will be proposing to try and impeach him if he goes that far. And this is the world and completion of goals, and really the eyes of the world would be on him. The Democrats would ensure that the rest of America could see exactly what's happening. They're ready. They would be ready for something like this. And here is Mueller coming forward, and this is the sword of truth, and this is the leadership. The Democrats would lead. They would try and protect Mueller. They would not have Trump. They would not allow Trump to try and shut down Mueller, sack Mueller, whatever you want to say. They would probably try and move towards some sort of impeachment, and they would try and get, that would be their way of getting rid of Trump. But look, this is the focus card. This is Trump. This is grief and anxiety. So look, that's where we have it. This is the Democrats now, because they've taken the House. Okay, the leaders, the power. They have power now, and they're courageous. They have the courage as well. So as much as and all as Donald Trump will try and will try and be two steps ahead, the Democrats will bring their might. Now that they have the House, they will use everything at their disposal, including potentially impeachment if he moves to get rid of Mueller or shut down that investigation. Okay, we really, this is an evolving situation. There are many capable people in the House now, many capable Democrats with significant expertise and experience. And this card seeming to suggest there may be some GOP elements they might try and get on side. The GOP particularly the way Trump has treated those GOP candidates who weren't successful, would not have endeared him to the GOP. They're not following him blindly. I wish I could remember this tweet because it gave me a real insight into how the rank and file of the GOP, when I'm talking the GOP candidates and previous congressional members, members of the House, how they actually do feel about Donald Trump, and it wasn't complimentary. I won't tell you what he, I think it is it. Yeah, is it Matt Seymour? Yeah, I'll come back and talk about this in a future reading because his tweet on on Twitter basically said Donald Trump was vile. Okay, this is a Republican member of the House that has has had to put up with Donald Trump's gaslighting in his electorate. Yeah, and he's very angry. So I wouldn't assume that every GOP, member of Congress is behind Donald Trump. There's a lot of anger and ill feeling out there at this present time. And I guess, as I said, it's an evolving story. But I do see vindictiveness and anger coming from Trump, but I also see this coming from the Democrats, and they're just warming up. Okay, so we kind of expected this might happen, and we will keep a watch on it, and we'll come back with more readings in the future. Thank you, viewers.